Hi there. If you want to update your curves or manage your curves in pressSIGN, then this video will be for you. It'll be a short one, hopefully. So I'll just go through the pressSIGN interface and how you manage your curves within pressSIGN. So the first thing you'll have done is made your measurements. Your job window would have a lot more jobs in it than the one that I've currently got here. I'm going to highlight that job, and I'm then going to move up to the Export Reports and Curves button just in the top right. So I'll just click on that. Let me just show you those a little bit closer. It's up in that area. That's where the Export Reports and Curves are. It's just here. That will then open up a window for you, and that is the Curves window, which I'm moving around here now in front of us. So the first thing to know is in the top area are essentially what we call your saved curves. I'm going to call it your saved curves area. So I've already had a curve set saved there, but if I want to save my new curves, I would be able to make sure that this is not selected, because selecting this line here would have a different effect. At the moment, we're going to click outside that area, click anywhere you like in this area, and you would then see this save button down at the bottom right hand side. So you can click save, or you can click on the plus icon, which is just in that area. You'll see the plus icon just there as well. All right, so I'm going to click on the save button, and what happens is I get a window which I can't show you, which comes up and says, what do you want to call the curve? And I would call it the name. It's got a number. I'll just call it AAA 123 and click on OK. And that AAA 123 comes in and gets stored in my curves list. Okay, so there's a few things within that list. It can choose whether it's a 4CX, a TVI, or an NPDC, i.e. a G7 curve, the date, the target standard, and a variety of other things that you see across the top. Now, if I already had a curve that I wanted to update, the process would be very, very similar, except I would select the curve that I want to update. Now, if I deselect it, I want you to have a look at this area of, so we've got plus buttons and other things here that will change, and our save button, which is just a little bit lower down, that save button will also change too. So let's have a look and see what way they change when I select one of the curves that I want to update, remember. So I can select that curve, I want to update it, and what's happened now is in this area we've got a lot more buttons and arrows that are working for us, and also the save button has become an update button. So it's all pretty easy to understand, easy to see. I can simply press on the update button and that would update the curve. The other thing I could do is I could press on the plus button. Yeah, I could still add a new curve, but the thing that we would recommend you do is that you press on this double plus button. That says copy, and what actually happens is pressSIGN makes a copy of your original curve, but then applies the new adjustment to the original curve. So you've always got the one to fall back on if you want to. You could just hit on the update button and that will just update the existing curve without making a copy. So let's click on the double plus button. I'm going to do that now. And the window that comes up says, do I want to copy or copy and update? So I'm going to select the copy and update. And you'll see then that on the screen I've now got a second curve saved. Let me see if I can show you that. So that comes in just here where it says resource test files number 001. Okay, so that's the copied and updated one. I've still got my original file here, and my new copied and updated one is just here. Exporting curves, all very easy to do. It is in this area here where you would click on the export button. I'll see if it actually says it to us. It did say export for a second, just under the cursor there. So that would be where you would be able to export your curves. Where are you exporting them to? Well, you're exporting them to a number of different workflows that are supported by pressSIGN, and so yep, that's the majority of workflows and RIPs that you'll be able to support using pressSIGN. One slightly different one, if you've got ESCO pressSYNC, then what actually happens is when you hit the export button, a new window arrives and asks you for a number of numbers and letters. Those with that kind of workflow will understand what you need to do there. You basically enter the letter and the percentage that is supplied by pressSIGN in your workflow. Otherwise, it is pretty standard export, and you can hit export there, and you've got a variety of different curve types that are available to you based upon your workflow as well. All right, so that is that. Let me probably very quickly show you a few more things in here. Sorry, if I select a curve, you can see that the first thing that is listed here, it actually says the name of the curves that you've saved. Here is the same name as you have up here. If you have nothing selected by clicking in this area, then it simply says linear. After that, we can see the data for the measured curves. This is your dot area, and this is the measurements. You've got your target curve values, and then the adjustment curve values that you can then typically export. You'd normally be exporting, well, either they're called calibration curves or adjustment curves, one or the other of those two. You can also select down at the bottom here whether you want a 4CX curve, a TVI curve, and you can see pressSIGN actually calculating the new curve shape based upon that choice, or you can choose TVI, or you can choose NPDC, which is the neutral print density curve from G7. So hopefully that's of use to you. You understand that. There's a couple of other areas where you can print reports, but most of the situation is that you need to be in these areas. So just to reiterate, so you'll have selected the measurements that you want that are going to generate your curve data. Essentially, you would click on add. So long as there's jobs or a job in the background, you then click the add or the save button. That puts in your first curve, and then to update it, you simply select the measurements, and you can then click on the plus or the update button in the future if you need to update your curves. Then you go to the export button here, and that will process through to your chosen RIP. Hopefully that gives you some clue as to what you're actually looking at within the pressSIGN curves dialog box. If you've got any questions, or contact me at Bodoni North America. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.